Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we will be talking about this Christmas winter storm that is right now already across the western United States. It will continue spreading towards the kind of the western, or I should say eastern portions of the Rockies before exiting onto the plains and making a show across portions of the Midwest and the Great Lakes with pretty copious amounts of snow, also some rainfall, and even beyond that, you're obviously you've seen my other videos. If you have, the news headlines, if you're keeping up with the weather, it's a crazy active pattern. So this is just one of many storms kind of through the New Year time frame that will be occurring. So there are many storms to track, but we will be mainly focusing on this single one that has gotten more confidence in the models have gotten more confidence in what's going to happen with it, and I will briefly show you what the long range shows as well. All right, before we do that, if you guys are new to this channel, hello, welcome. Check out the other videos, check out the channel, see if you do enjoy it. If you do, consider subscribing. Obviously, do that once you know that this channel is for you. And if you have any comments or concerns, leave them down below. And otherwise, let's start talking about this winter storm. So first off, I want to show you what is going on across the United States right now. And for that, I will just show you the HURR model. I could pull up the radar, but I just looked at the radar, compared it to this one, and really the model looks pretty similar to what the radar looks right now. We are seeing snow across the Sierra into Nevada, so I should say Sierra Nevada, and then into also Nevada, Utah. It is just beginning to spread into Utah and Colorado, but it will intensify as the night goes on. And we do have a band of snow across Michigan even, so that is interesting. That's kind of warm advection out ahead of this bigger storm. That's when warm air kind of collides with that colder air that was around for the Great Lakes for much of the past few days, and then that's when the warmer air rises and we create clouds, and that obviously drops a bit of snow. Nothing extraordinary, but a few locations did pick up an isolated 1 to 2 inches across the Michigan area. Let's continue this forward, shall we? Let's play this. Notice if you have any if you see any trends, it's that the west fills in the Intermountain West, and we see this large slug of precip shifting towards the south and eventually affecting Arizona, New Mexico, kind of abates portions of the Sierras, especially the northern and central, and we still do have a stream of moisture kind of affecting those areas. It just subsides, and notice the northwest still continuing to see good amounts of precip, but the main, again, news headline, if you will be this little river of moisture. And yeah, this will be powerful, potentially very heavy rain, very gusty winds, and of course several feet of snow just from a several hour burst of snow, and it's several hours, depends on where you are, because right now it's already occurring, so it's a bit more than several hours, up to 18 hours of just straight snow for some of these locations. And again, this is just a wave of one of many waves, and I want to show you the total accumulated precip that this 18-hour forecast shows. Alright, so again, very short term, but notice across San Diego, potentially well over 2 to 4 inches across, again, that metro. Los Angeles, same thing. The southern Sierra is going to pick up an additional probably 3 to 4 inches liquid precip, and if you were to convert that to snowfall, obviously that is potentially well over a foot and a half, and in some locations most definitely where's the southwest, right there, most definitely a foot to even, again, 1 to 3 feet, I would say, with the remaining kind of band. Notice it does spread into Utah, Wyoming, or sorry, I should say Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico and Nevada. But for a future more long range forecast, because that one, if you recall, just takes us out to 18 hours, let's take a look at another model. So this is a good model, but the thing is that it's a bit older. And what I mean by older is not that when it was created, it's just that when the data came out, this was 7 a.m. So if you saw it quickly, those precip amounts were much higher than what the model I just showed you. That's because this is old. A lot of this has already occurred, and in fact, I'll stop it where it is currently kind of residing, the state of the storm, if you will. And we're right now at 6. So that's what happened, right? So all of that has already fallen and occurred. There are some pretty good amounts coming in as the snowfall reports are starting to roll in from the Sierras and whatnot. So notice again that slug of precip does shift to the south, kind of leaves the Sierras, right? It's a pretty good model, the one I'm showing you here. But notice there still are rain across, there still is rain. Sacramento, San Francisco, the northern Sierra, the central, southern, all kind of seeing that rainfall again. And notice Nevada, northern Nevada picking up some rain into southeastern Oregon, and we do have more into Salt Lake City, right? The Wasatch now Colorado, Arizona, now into Southern California again, San Diego, Los Angeles metros are really going to be pounded by this rain into the overnight hours today. And you can see that by tomorrow, it really speeds up, really leaves much of California. Right, this is 10, 11, but spills, still is into portions of Arizona, New Mexico, and especially Colorado. And then that system moves out into the Midwest. But by the time that system is gone, let's take a look at what kind of the precip footprint it leaves. Again, a lot of this is a bit inaccurate because it's assuming precipitation from what has already fallen. So this isn't additional. This is, if you will, you could assume it's total precip from this system alone, just this single one. And you can see, yeah, some of these amounts all will be significant. Again, see those white colors, 44 inches, 46. A lot of that has already fallen, especially across the northern portions. But across Colorado, for example, or Utah, this is still going to fall. It's yet to fall. Not as legendary as the mountain of the Sierra, but still a pretty good snow footprint. Many areas up to 2 feet and over in the highest of the peaks. But I would say a more widespread 12 to 18 inch event for the higher elevations. And of course, the lower elevations where the snow can't fall, it will be a bit of rain, though again, not as profound. And you can see again the mountains kind of soaking up the most amount of moisture from these systems. So that is that. But you may be wondering, okay, so that's the snowy side of the Christmas winter storm across the Sierras or the mountain west. But let's go back to the rest of the United States and let's take a look at what the other kind of part of the country may deal with. So for that, let's go back, take on the radar, precip rain / frozen. And I don't want to say that this one that's occurring right now, right, the one I've been talking about, that really won't be the winter storm I'm kind of referring to. It will bring a bit of rain and snow to the Midwest and Northeast. It will bring a little batch of snow for South Dakota. Okay, you can see this is early Christmas Day, but the one I'm really kind of referring to, it actually is occurring a day after Christmas. But again, this rain is pretty needed for some of these locations because of how dry it is. Again, these areas haven't seen a lot of snow. So, nothing new, not seeing snow for Christmas. Again, a white Christmas doesn't seem likely for anywhere. You don't see the blue pretty much on the map. On this current day, you won't be seeing a white Christmas. But if you don't have snow laying on the ground right now, you probably won't be seeing additional unless you live across the west. So that's that system. That's the first one, right? And again, that's the one that's going to be ending on Christmas Day. It will bring some snow late Christmas Day into the day afterwards across the Northeast. Some even showed across areas like Boston, some large cities. But the one I'm talking about is this one right here. Notice another wave of precip for the west. Of course, nothing extraordinary, right? We've been just seeing a wave after wave this past couple of these past couple of months across the, I should say weeks. It's been kind of a very active past 3 to 4 weeks across the mountain west. But look, this system a lot more organized, much stronger, and you can see it develops a lot more snow. December 26th across the Minnesota, North Dakota area. South Dakota, Wisconsin, it does have rain to the south, so again, not everyone will be seeing snow out of this. You can see Chicago, mainly rain. Same thing with maybe Detroit, though there could be a few hours of snowfall, but you could see Minneapolis, right, Twin Cities, Green Bay. You may not see snow on Christmas, though the Twin Cities may. Green Bay maybe it won't, but the day after, really a few hours after, we'll be seeing a pretty big system. And you can see this does split apart. Doesn't really do much, and it fails to kind of produce the northeast side to the storm. But then look, we have another system moving in that produces another system of interest. Again, at this point, this is far out. The models disagree on how this evolves, and you can see that there's just system after system after system. Some very large ones potentially. We'll just have to see. But a very active pattern seems to be coming. Let me go to the total snowfall and just show you hour by hour what this looks like. So again, today's the 23rd through the 24th. This is how much snow maybe on the ground or may fall. You can see it really just southern Canada, Ontario, and maybe Manitoba, Saskatchewan, seeing some snow west or east of the mountains. And then we do see that little stripe of snow across the the Twin Cities getting affected by this. Northern South Dakota, extreme southern North Dakota on actual Christmas Day. And then that day after, we see that large system, which brings a decent amount. I mean, a very probable event for a lot of, say, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Fargo, for example, right, Michigan, and of course into Ontario. By the way, I do want to mention this, that on late Christmas Day, the first storm, the second phase, will be occurring across the Northeast, and that could drop quite a bit of snow across, say, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. So that means, don't get caught off surprised by that. You may be dealing with very plowable snow, 6 to 8 inches right there, but it's a pretty small area. And then just to demonstrate to you how active this pattern will be in the future, here you can see boom, storm after storm after storm, and areas in the Midwest after this 10-day to 15-day barrage may end up with decent snowfall amounts, right, of up to 20, 24 plus inches. Obviously not from one storm, but storm after storm could definitely add up to those amounts. And of course the West, look at that, just the legendary amounts of snow across the mountain ranges, almost all of them. Wasatch, Tetons, the Cascades, the Bitterroots, Sierras, the Colorado Rockies, and even into Arizona and New Mexico, seeing quite a bit of precip. So that's the GFS, but again, I want to show you as many models as I can about this system. So again, this is the one we're looking at right now. A lot of precip moving in towards the east, kind of affecting Southern California. You can see it doesn't really evolve into anything big, right? The GFS also showed barely a system out of this. It did show a bit of snow for the Northeast, if you recall the GFS, right? The European doesn't really do that across these locations. Really nothing at all. It does show a little band of snow across the plains on Christmas Day. The GFS did show that just a bit further towards the south than this model. Regardless, we're more focused on that second system, which you can see is already moving in by the time Christmas is unfolding or Christmas is occurring. And it's look how widespread that is. And this is where Seattle and some large cities like Portland may be seeing some snowfall. Yes, there could be some very extreme anomalies in terms of cold. And then boom, we have that rain. And we have that snow precip. It just explodes. I mean, within a matter of hours, we have a system that's kind of exploding. Again, it's kind of cut off from any precip, which is why it's not really long sustaining. But in that meantime, it does drop quite a bit of snow from Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Southern Canada, Michigan, the UP, even into northern portions maybe of Iowa, extreme northeastern South Dakota. You're seeing some decent snow out of that. Toronto, maybe seeing a bit of snow, but then it kind of seems to fade away. But then again, only a matter of a few hours, and we see another system moving in that already moved in through the west, dropped its snow, and then you can see very similar track. And the European at this point again starts disagreeing with the other models, so we'll have to see what happens in the future. But let's see what that total accumulated rainfall is from those two systems. So again, this is just through Christmas Day. Decent amounts, to say the least, across some of the western portions and even portions of the Midwest right there into Ohio, Pennsylvania. And then from that winter storm of interest, right, you could see up to an inch and a half across these areas of precipitation. This would be falling in the form of snowfall. So let's just take a look at that and cut the I guess the non-exciting information for the snow lovers. Look at that, 11 inches, widespread event of good snow. And if you recall, the GFS does show this much further towards the south. It affects the Twin Cities, Wisconsin, and Michigan, right? While the European model keeps it up towards the north. So it's still there, just again a bit of a track difference. So you can see that they're disagreeing on a system that's not that far out, let alone the other ones, which are much further out, and again a lot more of room to disagree on what they will do. You can see they kind of overlap them, but the system very well may take a southern track, it may take a northern track, or it may just not even develop at all. That's the thing. But look at the west. I mean, these are large amounts of snow, and notice how filled it is. It isn't just the highest of the elevations seeing snow, it's also the lowest elevations. And as I said, Portland, Seattle, a lot of the snow here will be reaching sea level because of how cold it will be. So you can see much of Idaho, valley or not valley, you'll be seeing decent amounts of snow, really most locations 6 inches plus. Same thing with Nevada, even California, there could be some very, very cold air. You won't see snow in Los Angeles, but you could see some pretty chilly air, very unpleasant. And notice again, all along the coast here we have snow, which means a very, very chilly air mass and good amounts of snowfall for sure for these locations in the next 240 hours, which is around 10 days. Pretty good amounts of snowfall. So that's that. Let's take a look at another model. Yes, there's even more that I want to show you from the perspective of the weather. And notice there's our little band of snow that will occur on Christmas. There's our first storm again. It doesn't really produce much snow. It mainly turns into a rain event and skittles off. And the Canadian again shows what the GFS and European show, right? It does show that system in a very similar orientation, blows it up right there on, this would be again in terms of date, this would be late Sunday into Monday, so a lot of people would be returning home and whatnot. That would be a pretty nasty commute, but you can see it shows decent snows even across Michigan, not as far north as the European, but not as far south as the GFS, so kind of that in between, which is a good, a good possibility. You could see the Twin Cities still would pick up around around, oh, let's say 2 to 4 inches with it. Again, it probably would start at snow, transition over to a bit of rain, but it still brings some snow. North Dakota, you can see picking up good amounts. They need this, by the way. It's been rather dry across these areas throughout much of the summer, so this snowfall, this precip will be very, very replenishing. And then notice that the Canadian, right, the GDPS does show continued snow falling there, and that's because of continued activity and continued snowfall from the southwest, or it takes that from the southwest, that precipitation. And just to show you how cold it may get, right, because I've been talking about this cold, I'm going to show you the 2 meter temperature anomalies, because the 2 meter temperatures are going to obviously be cold, but this is kind of what should be considered average for this time of the year. And anywhere you see blue, it's colder. Anywhere you see it's more, even that orange, I should say, almost that white color, it's above average. And you can see that there will be conflicting sides. One side of this is the cold, just ridiculous cold air. And then on the other side, well, where it goes down, it must go up. And you can see there's just downright heat wave across much of the south for Christmas. But look at that. Montana starts it off by almost 56 degrees below average on Wednesday. A truly ridiculous anomaly that spreads into the Dakotas. That is just insane. And look at that. That affects much of Seattle. Look at that, 20 degrees below average, and we have with precip overlapping, you bet that will produce some snow, right? And you can see that stays across these locations, maybe not to the same extent as widespread, but still those readings well into the healthy double digits with that cold anomaly, and that spreads further towards the south and west. But that heat still, if you're living across the southeast, this is gonna be a complete fantasy to you. You will be struggling with 70s and 80s sweating, while the northwest and the kind of northwestern part, half of the United States will be, will be dangerously, brutally cold. In fact, life-threatening cold, and the temperatures will be really reflecting this. And every single model shows this, by the way. I'll show you a few more, right? So look at that, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's even hard to picture. That's really just hard to imagine. You can't spend more than a few minutes outside with exposed skin. Otherwise, you risk frostbite, and severe frostbite. And again, there are going to be conflicting sides to this. Just these two large air masses, a heat wave right here with even 90s across Texas, all the way to, just brutal, barbaric cold, meaning brutal, savage cold. And that's why, the models like the Canadians show a bit of snow for, say, cities like Seattle and Washington, or Seattle and Portland. So let me go to region so I can kind of zoom in on this and show you that. Look at the Northwest. Look at some of these amounts. So again, it starts off being high elevation snow, not cold enough, but once that cold air reaches, boom, in the long range, we see those lower elevations picking up some snow. Here it shows around 6 inches in the long term. Not from one system for Seattle, but from multiple ones. So there may not be 6 inches of snow on the ground at one given time, because it might kind of melt in between or whatnot. But again, given those temperatures, it's a good chance that this snowpack may build to a decent amount. Portland right there, 6 inches potentially. And again, those are the most coastal of the coastal areas, and there will be many locations that typically don't see that much snow, seeing a lot of snow. And yeah, Cuchera is probably going to be even higher because of how darn cold it's going to be. And yeah, you can see that the mountains really light up with that white, 60, 70 inches, 80 inches. So this doesn't show more snow, it just shows us kind of the correct fluffiness, right? If you have an inch of fluffy snow, it's a lot less precip. But if you have like that same precip turn into wet snow, it's going to be a lot less. This is why this is a pretty accurate measurement, or more accurate, right? And you can see some of these amounts are just ridiculous, just through the next 10 days. Okay, right? So that's the Canadian. Let's take a look at, say, the European snowfall the next 240 days. Look at that. It doesn't have Cuchera, but again, you can see not as high. It is a 10-1, but it still shows snow for Seattle, Portland, those two cities, and of course many others. Right? I'm just singling out those because those usually don't see snow during snowy events across the west, because they're pretty far to the south in terms of altitude, and many of these locations obviously still seeing legendary amounts, but it's a bit more expected for them to see snow, just again not as much. And in GFS, let's take a look at its 240. You can see it shows snow, and it's 384, which is even further out, really beefens up the mountain snowpack across the northwest to ridiculous proportions almost. So yeah, a lot of snow, guys, and this is gonna be good. I'm telling you, for the long-term results of this is gonna be very good news. It's just again, maybe a bit too much at once, and I will show you these 2 meter temperature anomalies just to prove it to you that the Canadian isn't just crazy. It's also the GFS and all the other models that show these anomalies. And for this, you could see that, yeah, look at that. Look at those anomalies. That is insane. So even if your average, for example, was say 70 for this time of the year across the Northwest, which it isn't, but if you were to get it almost a 60 negative degrees below average, so a 60-degree change, so you would be seeing 10 degrees. 10 degrees, even if your average was 70. So if this same anomaly was occurring across Florida, God, couldn't even imagine what the impacts of that would be. Obviously, that would be catastrophic. But thankfully, it's across the Northwest, which still has been absolutely seeing just a seesaw of anomalies in terms of the year. We had that early year heat wave. Now we're seeing this insane cold. And let me just zoom out to show you that across the rest of the United States, this cold air will start off secluded towards the north and west, but it will spread further and further south over time. And yeah, so that is that. I kind of wanted to talk about this winter storm, give you some details, show you the ensembles as well. These are many models combined that I like to look at because it gives you a nice average look of what the temperatures may do. And because looking at one model, it may be skewed in a model's kind of own bias, but looking at many, you could see that the pattern won't be all out cold for everyone, but it will be very cold, and it will definitely be more dominant than that warm. You can see the warm is just kind of struggling. It got secluded just towards the south, and it's been dominant most of the winter. But now that cold air, as we go further and further into time, all the way into January, the first week of January, a lot more cold air, which is why any precip that occurs has a much higher chance of occurring as snow across the Great Lakes, the Northeast areas that haven't been seeing a lot of snow so far this year. So yeah, that is that. I will show you a few more models right here in terms of that snowstorm occurring, but they are just starting to pick up on it because it's not that far out, or it is still kind of far out. We could see right there, boom, on Sunday we have the explosion of snow across. Again, this one keeps it a bit further towards the south, so the Twin Cities, Milwaukee even picking up a few hours of snow, Madison, Green Bay, and of course towards the north. Again, you can see there's no real warm side to it. It's not impressive. It's using mainly that Pacific moisture, but even within that few hours, you can see the total accumulated snowfall is pretty significant from the Canadian high res, and we have up to almost a foot across portions of eastern North Dakota. And I want to show you the NAM 12KM, another model that goes out to 84 hours. You can see what this one does is it takes that snow a bit further south, even to cities like Chicago, right? Again, whether or not that'll happen, maybe. But again, it seems more of a kind of a northern scenario is trending with the model. So I'll keep you guys updated on this. But here's a German model, and a very decent one as well. And you can see they all show a system, just again a bit different, each one of them. This one shows it a bit weaker and a bit quicker, and it starts showing that second one. So regardless, a lot of snow, a lot of rain for the west, and a lot of snow chances for the upper Midwest, and a lot of rain for where that snow is too warm to fall as. But yes, that's that Christmas winter storm. But again, it really, throughout much of the next 2 weeks, there will be many storms. You can see the 28th already a new one developing. Let me just show you in the long range. I already showed you it, but look, there's one right New Year's Eve. There's one potentially New Year's Day, a bit after, and then just one after the other. And again, as that colder air reaches its dominance, more snow chances for further southern areas. So that's basically it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. See ya.